The scariest ride was, okay, I wanted to do it. I wanted to go on it. And then I also didn't. And like, I wanted someone to push me on it, but then the terror of someone pushing me on it was there. And that was that like merry-go-round one with the metal bars, and you get on it and you be on it, and you can't just go on it and try to push with your leg to make it spin. It didn't have the same effect. You wanted someone to spin you. But the problem is that you just didn't know what kind of spin you were going to get. You could have a spin where you might be holding onto the bar and your legs flying out behind you. Do you still long for that feeling, that rush of death-defying feats on a playground of the 1970s?
Very dramatic.
Well, I mean, come on. When I look back on some of the stuff that we did in the 1970s on playgrounds, yeah, they were death-defying, if not maiming. Am I wrong?
I would have to say I broke my arm once. Well, I broke my toe once. I broke my arm once in my childhood, and it was on a playground. Now, it was on somebody's background playground, but
okay,
it was
okay.
backyard playground.
There are so many different playgrounds in the area that we grew up in, Seaford, Long Island. There were the Washington Avenue Park, there was Seaman Park, the Wantagh Park, the Cedar Creek Park, all these different parks, and they each had their own unique thing. And I was talking to some other people that were from all over the place, and they all had the same experience. So I kind of wanted to go over some of the different things that were common in the 1970s that you will never see in today's world.
As you named some of those parks, I was like, oh, right. Oh.
They were all a little bit something because they all got redesigned too. So the first one I want to talk about, like us growing up, Washington Avenue Park, if you grew up on Long Island and you were in the Seaford area, you would know this, but there were some common things on there. The first one I always think about is the slide, the metal slide that went super high. And I mean, though there were trees there, the trees did not necessarily keep the metal from heating in the dead of summer.
I could feel my legs burning. I loved the slide. I loved that it went fast. I think this is the one on Cedar. Yeah. I remember it fast. I loved that it was tall. But yeah, there were days. It wasn't often. And I don't know if that slide was the problem, but I do remember sitting on a metal slide and and actually the worst is when it's you stick to it as you go down and you feel your skin kind of,
I mean, but again, there's a reason why they banned those metal monstrosities.
Oh, I didn't know they banned them, but I haven't seen them in ages. You're right.
But also, you got to figure,
survived.
When they made them, and they kind of, I think they had like poles that went into the ground. They probably were grounded with cement. Over time, some of the ground would wear away, and it felt like the end of the slide got higher and higher, but it was just really the ground was getting lower and lower.
Yes.
So when you would go, sometimes you would go so fast, you go flying off the fudger and land on your ass. But sometimes the drop was bigger than you anticipated because of that. I would imagine other places, because I do remember we had other, parks that had sand. But this particular one was all ground and grass, though that was probably
worn
down ground. For the most part, I think they replaced with the soft cushioning now.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think they have as much sand over there.
I don't remember ever flying that I fell on my ass. I do remember going really fast, and you get to at the end, and you're like, "Wow, that was much faster than I anticipated."
I also remember with the now they didn't have it at that park. They had it over at Seaman. They had the one that kind of twirled down as you went on it. I remember that one thinking that was a fancy slide.
Right, because today you see them everywhere. They're at like every park. But back then, The rocket ship. No, the rocket ship was straight down. Yeah. But I do remember going on a swirly one, and that was one. Fancy.
There's actually a picture of me on one wearing a blue coat with white fur trim.
Oh, you should put it up if you.
I don't know what happened to it, but I remember seeing it, and my legs were getting caught on the above me, but yet I was turned this way. I was in a very awkward position, which seems, appropriate. Don't go your feet first.
I always went with my feet. I didn't like going head first because,
I don't know what I was doing. I think I was going side first or something. Who knows? Now, we were talking, and this was something I honestly, for whatever reason, thought it was solely a Long Island thing, but it turns out, my boyfriend, who was an Army brat, was all over, Air Force brat, all over the country. So the rocket cage, it was a metal cage that was probably about 3 stories high. His had a slide coming out of it. I don't remember there being a slide coming out of it.
We did. It did? We had a slide, but I remember when I got older, they closed off the slide. I don't know why.
Probably because it was metal.
I thought they were going to fix it. No, because if your boyfriend remembers it and he's about our age.
Well, yeah.
Or is he
I'm
more
saying
well, I'm only 2 years older than you.
They might have
but I do remember
the part to the slide because it was metal. Because if you remember, that particular park was in full sun and near the water, no less. That one was.
That's probably the one I burnt my legs on. But I remember it. Yeah, you're right. It was 3 levels, and I think only the second level had the slide.
It's funny because I remember going in that and I would get claustrophobic in it, which is silly because it was a cage. But the higher I went up, recognizing there was no way of getting out, like on the top, made me kind of freak out. Like
I just remember it boring. I mean, I loved it because it was very cool. It was we called it the rocket ship park. Let's go to the rocket ship park because I didn't know the name. But it was, What was your scariest? Was the slide your scariest? Is that why you're harping on the slide?
Well, it was a tall slide. I had a thing for heights. Heights kind of freaked me out. So that was a very tall slide. I would do it, but I do recall going up the steps and getting halfway there and just holding on to the stairs and just being like unable to move. And then you going, move it! I'll just go over and you climb over me.
I didn't know that.
Let me step on your head.
Doing it. Oh my God, Danielle.
I know.
I'm not going to go down for you.
It kind of reminds me the first time I ever went on a diving board. I'm feeling like it was
diving board was terrifying. I went once when I was an adult finally, and I think I screw up my back. But remember the really high diving? I walked out, looked down, turned around, went back down. Everyone was very nice about it, though. My scariest playground, the fire pole. You know how you had to, and the reason why is when you get to whatever level, second, third level, and you had to reach out. Oh, I'm doing it. You had to reach out and then grab onto the pole and slide down.
And I
could slide down. That was fun.
But you had to kind of trust and let go on one side and kind of fall into catching it.
Yes, when you were little, but yes.
And it's like you're 2 stories high. They were trying to kill us, Joanne.
Yeah. Now, that also was metal, and if you didn't wear pants, you didn't slide as well.
Right.
But that one was probably the scariest. Although as you were talking, I was thinking at that Cedar Creek Street or Cedar Street?
Cedar Creek Park.
They had that train that was all made of metal bars.
That was Montauk. That was Washington. That was Washington Park.
Oh, Washington. Yes. Oh, that's where I was thinking of the slide, actually.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I was thinking of the slide, too.
It had the metal bar, and I used to walk on the bars, which was a bit insane, which was a bit,
like going up high.
Thrilling, it was
Instead of
scary,
using
but I
the
still
monkey
did
bars
it.
like that, you would climb
Oh,
up
I
and
sucked
walk.
at monkey bars. I still suck at I have no upper body strength. I got arm strength, but no upper body.
Bob was telling me that he remembered going on the monkey bars and like one kid would be on one end, he'd be on the other end, and they would have a kick war to get past each other. And like, I'm like, is that a boy thing?
I remember my youngest, when she went to school, they had the monkey bars and she couldn't do them. I couldn't do them, so I did. But she was being bullied because she couldn't do them. And Gordon had helped build the monkey bars at the preschool, and my dad built that monkey bars, but they didn't care. So when she came home, we would go to the playground near us and we would practice. Oh, and she got really good at it. Yeah, she could still do it today. Yeah.
That's some tenacity right there, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that I'm thinking about it. The scariest ride was, okay, I wanted to do it. I wanted to go on it. And then I also didn't. And like, I wanted someone to push me on it, but then the terror of someone pushing me on it was there. And that was that like merry-go-round one with the metal bars, and you get on it and you be on it, and you can't just go on it and try to push with your leg to make it spin. It didn't have the same effect. You wanted someone to like spin you. But the problem is that you just didn't know what kind of spin you were going to get. You could have a spin where you might be holding onto the bar and your legs flying out behind you.
I spun it for someone and that happened. Then maybe it was you.
Probably me.
So somebody was, and they were, and I slowed it down at that point and went, oh, that's not a good idea. It could have been you,
you know what? It might have been Mary or James or one of them, because they were a lot smaller than us.
Right. But I pushed it a lot and rather ride on it, but I would also be able to push it and then hop on. But I didn't. I get dizzy easily, but I did go on it. But I remember pushing and pushing. You know how you grab it and pull it and it's going faster. And I can see younger me doing it really hard, but older me would not. I think
I've often wondered how many people have puked after getting off of that merry-go-round, after spinning like mad and then getting off and puking. Because I do know there have been many a times I gotten off and then like you're walking, but you're not walking straight and then you fall over.
I've done that. Yeah.
I would love to hear from our listeners how many people have either puked or have fallen off.
I didn't fall over, but I wouldn't walk in a straight line.
No, I'd outright fall over and then just decided to sit there until it was done.
Yes, I remember like, okay.
But I did feel a slight bit of terror, like approaching it, but in the same breath, I enjoyed it, but not the terror part.
Yeah, I don't remember being afraid of it. I did remember it made me sick, but not bleh, but I feel nauseous, sick. But that wasn't I wasn't afraid of it. It was that fire pole that I can think of, the heart like, no, Joanne.
Now we have to talk about the swings, because when we were kids, the first thing we would do is race each other to the swings, because there was only so many swings that can be occupied. And so we would run there because there was always, at least because we had a big family, it was always one kid that wasn't going to get on. So
I didn't know that. Running. I must have always won.
Of course you did. You were the biggest of our group. But
yeah.
Because let me tell you, I think
I'm not the oldest, just to be clear, but
no.
She said group because our family had kind of
we had the big kids, the middle kids, and the little kids.
Yeah, we were the middle kids.
And we had the little kids tend to follow us around. I don't feel like we followed the big kids around as much.
I think I admired my sisters a bit.
But I don't remember
particularly as I got older
with them.
No. I don't know where they went. Roller skating rink?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I heard roller skating rinks are coming back.
That's funny. Actually, I know someone that was telling me their kid went to a roller skating rink recently. We'll have to talk about that one on another show. But no, when it came to swing, and then it was always a disappointment when you got there and somebody had looped it around it so many times that you couldn't get to it. And then you'd have to go to the park office, if there was a park office, and have them unravel it.
I didn't know that, but I remember it was chain and straight down. I liked the ones, I didn't like the straight ones. I liked the ones that were, and I remember would try to swing so high that I could jump off and you go flying out. Do you remember that? And you go,
or you feel
like you're flying.
You're trying to go so high that and it's funny because I was afraid of going on heights, but not on the swing.
Well, you feel anchored with the ropes. And I've been on swings since that have safety. So you can't, because I used to think, oh, what if we can swing all the way around? Because, that's safe. But I would get quite high, but never swung it around. Somebody had to have actually thrown it. But they have these safety swings, and they had things at the top, so you couldn't go too high. Yeah. Well, if you notice today, you rarely see swings at a park because those safety swings sucked. You can't swing on these.
Particularly for the babies where they put them in the little round thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they have that too. But at least around here, I don't see swings. And I was in Florida.
I didn't see many. Park, they redid the park, mind you, but I remember whenever we went there, Joey and Gunnar would fight to get on them.
Thinking of Rotary Park when I was thinking there's no swings there.
Oh, they redid. There's a little rock wall that you can climb now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They have a rock wall here too, but no swings. The only one I could think of that might have had one was Wickham. I think they might have had swings, but it was the safety swings, and those are boring.
I just remember the swings were and I remember being taught how to pump my legs.
Oh, yeah.
So I can get higher and higher.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you would get on there and you're trying to remember, which way do I have my feet extended? Is it now? Yes, no, I don't think I'm doing this right. Let me try it again. And then you're kicking off to go backwards and then swinging back forward. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying about that rush, that feel of excitement. The swings gave that to me.
Because I remember also I didn't really have Dad push me because I could get higher without him. I got good at it because you also leaned back and you pulled the things back, and so your body kind of went forward too. Yep.
That was so much fun.
I have a playground story I can tell you.
Okay.
I think it was Cedar Creek Park, and you probably have a similar. Every family member, I think, has a similar story. But I remember being on the swings, and we had a station wagon, and the family left. I was with someone. I don't remember who. And I ran after them. I said, stop, I'm coming, stop. And I saw them leave. And then I went, they always do a head count. They'll be back. And I went back on the swings. And the story Mom and Dad always tells is, we went back in a panic and then we saw you on the swings and we thought, oh, she didn't even notice. And I always said, no, I did notice. I just thought, you'll be back.
This is one of the joys of having a family of 11 kids. Someone was always left behind, which is why we learned how to make a collect call.
Each of us has a story.
Yeah. We were all taught each other how to make a collect call, and that when they say they're receiving a call from him, it's like, you left me at church or you left me at the park.
Yeah, I know.
And then you hung up so they didn't have to get the collect charge.
TJ, I think, did it. Oh, I didn't know that. I think TJ did it. I think it was at McDonald's, and he told me I taught him. I was like, did I? I could see it.
You were good at teaching everybody those things. You taught people life skills.
Because each of us gets left behind. I think we all have a Left Behind story in Left Behind. That's that book and TV series.
Yeah. The other thing that I also love, because, obviously in the winters, the parks are a little bit different dynamic. At both Cedar Creek Park and also at the Washington Avenue Park, at our park, they had baseball diamonds. They actually had two, but it was sunken in. to the ground. So they had these hills that went down, and we bring our sleds or, cardboard boxes.
I don't remember the sled.
The sleds? Cardboard boxes, sleds, or even tops of garbage cans.
But that wasn't
slide down.
That wasn't.
But also at Cedar Creek, they had them too, because at Cedar Creek Park they had the hills.
That one I remember. But the baseball one, I thought it was too steep. I don't remember doing it there.
I remember. That didn't stop us. But between going down in the snow, but also what I definitely remember is going on our side and rolling down. I always think
that
of
I remember doing
the movie Princess Bride.
To be fair, yes. But it's funny because I used to roll down hills, and I don't anymore. Well, I'm also 50 something. I can't remember, but it hurt.
Yeah,
I remember it hurting
because you were inevitably going to be hitting a rock.
Yeah, it was bumpy, but yeah,
I remember rolling down those things, but also during the winter going down sledding. Definitely Cedar Creek. I think the hills were so tall.
Yeah. Well, that used to be a trash dump. And then they turned the trash dump into these big
Mind
hills.
You, the trash dump, I think, was hundreds of years ago.
Was it? I didn't know that.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's a lot of trash. Or hundreds of years ago. Well, do you remember the sleds? I know this is going off topic a little. It was metal. The two metal things and a wooden. That's what I remember as a sled. And then you put your feet on it and you can steer it.
I remember.
You don't see the metal ones anymore.
I feel almost like you could have gone on ice with it, which another thing to go back to. When you were talking about roller skating, I was thinking how they had that roller rink, that concrete pad with the gates around it that people would go roller skating. Back then, you could rent roller skates, if I'm not mistaken, and roller skate at the Cedar Creek Park. But we would always have the metal kind that would stick onto our shoe and had a skate key.
They were terrible.
They were horrible. Horrible because the wheels were metal. They weren't cushioned. And I broke my arm roller skating.
I vaguely recall that.
Oh, the bone was sticking out and everything.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Like the skin was still there, but like there was this lump. And I'll never forget being at the doctor's office with Mom, and a doctor glanced at it and goes, "Oh, it's probably just sprained, and we'll take care." They're very crowded, and Mom had peas on it, and I'm just crying and crying and crying. And this young man walks by, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And my mom's like, "Oh, they said it's a sprain." He looks at it and he goes, "I'm going to take you for X-rays." He was an intern, and he said, "Because I think that's her bone." And it was. He had to pull it to get it back in. But that's why I had it cast up to here.
This is why Mom and Dad never trusted doctors.
Well, the funny thing is that I found out years and years and years later that intern became the head of the department. Yeah.
Wow. You should write to him and tell him your story.
I'm sure he's long gone now,
Oh.
But
you never know. Well, I guess he could be in the 60s.
But I think that, what was I going to say? But there were definitely injuries galore. And though I wouldn't call it a park, but I do know a lot of people have similar situations because their parks did have them. I think of the pond that was behind the path mark.
Do you remember the one year it froze over and they allowed us to go on the ice?
When we were younger, you always could go on the ice.
Oh, I only remember once.
I remember
going to the island in the center.
And being so excited that you can go on the island.
Yeah.
Which,
do you, so I have a story. Take it as you wish. It's not entirely a playground story. So, well, it's not, but it's a park story. We used to go and Mom would bring bread to feed the ducks, which you can't do anymore. And I remember her feeding it and the geese also overwhelming her. And we're like, get in the But Mom used to like to feed the ducks, and she used to visit the ducks and everything such. So when we had her memorial service 2 years ago there, I went and stopped off at that park because, Mom and the ducks. I think one of the geese bit her once, but that doesn't matter. But if you've gone there since, it has tall grass all around the pond. You could barely see it. I was there with my daughter, and we were walking down, and there's this one area with a little beach. And there was a woman taking pictures of the geese, and we walk up, and all of a sudden, all the ducks stood up and walked towards us. And she said, "That's so weird." And I said, "Well, my mom liked to." I was telling her why we were there, and she goes, "That's why the ducks came up. They got it. Your mother. They knew their mother." So I always think of that when I think of that park.
Okay, crazy. Me and Gunnar went there
during her service.
So we parked over by the Takapusha Museum. Went through the back of it and went through there because you could go there. We never walked around the thing because it also had a lot of bird poop on the ground.
It always did, even when we were kids.
But I forgot at that time, and so
it actually is better.
We got,
but you have shoes on,
and then we turned around and came back. But we were about to go to a funeral service, and then turned around back.
We could have seen you.
I know, I didn't see that. That's why I'm like listening. I'm like, I
funny?
did the same thing.
That's so weird. I just came in from the side. We did walk over to the museum, but then we came back because we had time to kill. But I said, "Paige, we go," because for me, it was also my goddamn watch. But for me, it was the last time I was going to be on Long Island. I always felt that. I mean, you never say never, but I knew when Mom and Dad passed, I would never go back to Long Island. So it was like, let me go to Takapusha. It was Mom's, she liked feeding the dog. It was one of the spots we went to.
So I was thinking about some of the things that we had that were very unique at the parks that maybe other people didn't have. And I can only think of one thing, and it was gone by the time, certainly before we got to middle school, because they revamped the park. Do you remember in Seaman Neck Park, they had a water fountain?
Seaman's Neck. Which one is that?
That was the one that was by the water. You go all the way down, like past the
Is that where
library.
We had the Memorial Day picnics?
No, that was over at Wantagh.
They had a whale or a lion. A lion. A lion. Yes, I remember that. Holy cow.
It was a big lion. And his mouth was wide open, and you had to stick your head into the lion in order to drink from the water fountain.
Holy cow. Blast from the past, man.
And I remember when they were taking it down thinking that, why didn't they just fix it up? Like, why did they have to destroy it? Because it was so
iconic. Yes.
I remember the mustard yellow color.
Yeah, but his mane was brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's so sad. If you're from that area,
if you remember it, I want to find pictures. Like, because we used to have pictures, but like, I don't think
I remember a picture of us standing around. I gotta say this is slightly off topic. Mom wanted to give me the pictures. I said no. And Gordon's telling me now, with his mom's passing, they're going to take all the pictures, send it to a place that is going to digitize it for them, and then they'll still have all the pictures. I went, oh, I would have done that.
That's what I did with Grandpa's film.
I wonder what happened to all those pictures. I'll ask. I
have all of our grandparents' slides. I just found them this last weekend.
You can have them.
I know it costs money.
It does, but maybe I can have it done. We'll talk.
We'll talk later. We'll talk later about it.
All right. What was your biggest injury from a playground? Or
I mean, honestly, from a playground, I mean, it was probably like scuffed knees and burnt bums and
you're right. It wasn't anything terrible. Like I said, the only time I did
it was big knot on my noggin from hitting my head. I probably had a concussion. I would love to know how many people have walked away from parks with playground. Like those. Yeah. Remember, like when you got a bump, it was a freaking lump. Like, I don't remember seeing that with my own kids. Why did we have such giant lumps on our noggins?
Like you said, our playgrounds were unsafe. Although I got one on my leg like that because I was on the chain link fence, trying to balance beam it, and
were you pretending the ground was lava? I remember us doing that at our house.
I think I want to say Indiana Jones was about them, and I wanted to be an adventurer. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I did the.
I do remember you doing stuff like climbing on the chain link fence and just like a spider.
I'm thinking in the house.
No, yeah. in the playgrounds, and like a spider trying to like get as far as you could go without touching the ground, and then having a park person saying, "Hey, you kid, get down from there," because that was dangerous, not the rest of the stuff.
Well, that was playground stuff, even though, but I would say I was in a lot of people. The play sets started to come out for in the backyards, and my friend had one that had a trapeze, and I ran to grab the trapeze and go flying like I like to do with the swings. I missed, and I fell on my arm and broke it.
Oh, I remember that. Didn't you like dislocate your shoulder too?
I don't remember that. I think I might have, because we went to the emergency room and it was hours, and there was some point I went down and up and it was painful, and they thought that maybe it was because I dislocated it and it went back in on its own. But I don't know, because Gordon used to dislocate his shoulder all the time, and when he does, holy cow. Of course, I was a kid, so maybe kids aren't as bad. I don't know.
I do remember you with a sling, and then I think you wore it to Aunt Kathy's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I remember I'm smiling because I remember getting out of school for like 2-3 weeks because they couldn't put a cast on it because it was up here. Today they don't use cast, but back then they did, but they couldn't put a cast on it, but they were afraid of me bumping into other kids at school. So they said I had to stay home.
Oh my God, yes. I had a cast up to here all the way down, and it was like
a
90-degree angle.
Well, was it here?
It was here, but that was when I had the bones sticking out and stuff.
Yeah. They don't use casts anymore because they say cast does not help the healing process. There's problems with it. I forget what, but they do other things. What's that?
I said mine did.
Yeah. Well, and Allie broke her arm 20-something years ago, and she had a cast, but they changed it every couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't get the whole thing.
Well, I'm trying to think what was the other thing that I was going to. I also feel like where there were the tennis courts that were on the park, and watching it as a kid, always wanting to go in there because it was all adults at the time, and then finally you could sign up to get lessons, and I remember going and being bored. I know you continued with it. I was bored.
Well, I took lessons, but you know how our family tends to have low blood pressure, and get over dizzy a lot. I remember that was my first big encounter of being overheated and the place spinning and the eyes going. Yeah. And I didn't play tennis because I thought it was tennis. Now I realize. Now I play tennis actually, just for fun. And I know when to say stop. I know, I realize now it's just the blood pressure thing. But I did write things down There was one I wanted to, St. William's Playground. Because I was looking at playgrounds and parks. I know we were talking about parks.
A playground?
That's what I'm saying.
It had a playground.
It had one.
When we got a little bit older, they made one for the preschool, which was right by the glass entryway. But other than that, I don't recall any playground. Well, we just ran around like heathens.
And they didn't have preschool. They had a kindergarten.
They had preschool. But Nancy went to the preschool.
Maybe they got it later. They had a kindergarten, when I was there, but I remember playing there up until like second grade. And then after that, it was just a field.
And also concrete that had...
that was when we were older. Then it was just concrete. I mean, it was like a prison yard. I know. Well, if you think about it.
So, true story, all right? This is horror stories from St. William's. I mean, it's not really a horror story, but you know what I mean. So I remember running through, you know how they had like the way that the hallways went, and there was always like a little area that was concrete in between that like the students could get out. Like there's the grammar school, but in the middle school area and the high school.
There was like three sections and they were connected by
I remember we were in that area. I don't remember what grade I was in, fourth, maybe fifth, probably fourth grade. We were running and I fell and I split open my knee, like major league, right?
This sounds familiar.
They take me to the nurse and I remember them pouring peroxide over my knee and me screaming. And Sister Laurentine, it was her first year there, was laughing because she was trying to, laughing at the scenario, not me, but she was trying to take a tape recorder and record over silence over it. I don't know why, but she was trying to record silence over it so she could reuse the tape. It was very strange. And she's like, well, ain't gonna get silence here. She was funny, but
she was my favorite.
So they were pouring stuff over there. Didn't call mom. I couldn't walk on it. Like it just kept splitting open and everything. And they put this big giant bandage on it. Mom was furious and went there later because it turns out I had pebbles stuck in my knee to the point where I had black marks on my knee. And it was years later that it had to be sliced open to get it out.
Catholic school, my friend.
So this is the way we were raised. We just dealt with those things. Because the thing is, it went so deep, it took a while for it to work its way towards my skin. And that's when we started going, what is that?
Well, I'm impressed that the body was able to try to push it out. That's in the impression
But my mom was, we did it again. Mom was furious that they didn't contact her. But I also think they didn't contact her because it was mom.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't until Dad died and Sister Joanne came to the funeral and I said, Mom, Sister Joanne's here. And she said, she just wants to see that she beat another one.
I don't think Mom made things easy for people.
I don't think she would have sent us to St. William's. But to be fair, going into high school there and seeing my kids in high school, wow, the kids there were bad.
Really?
There was a lot of drugs. There was a lot of...
I was oblivious to it all.
I was oblivious in grade school. I think by high school, I started to see it.
I was oblivious in high school.
And I needed to get out. Hence, I left at a young age. I left in my early 20s.
I was an exchange student to get away. But I think that was more away from our family.
And when you came back as an exchange student, didn't you become more aware of the idiocy of Long Island?
What you realize is that this isn't it. I think that was what it is. It's not that I had a problem with anything.
Okay,
it was more
I
like you
understand.
just realized that like this is not the be all to end all. And that like ultimately I probably wasn't going to be remembered. So who cares?
Yeah, I remember having that. I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember having those thoughts eventually was like, this isn't it. But do you think, see, this is another conversation, but do you think with today's social media, you know how we were complaining in one of them that you make a mistake and you have to get forgiveness from the entire world now? So it's not as easy to have, I guess if you're Gen Z, it's harder, but I guess it depends how much you're on the internet.
And I don't want to veer too off, but I do think that a lot of Gen Xers will understand this concept. When we were younger, let's even just talk about even in relation to playgrounds and everything, like we were wild. Like we were a bunch of heathens. Like if there was a way you were supposed to use a particular, playground thing, chances are we were going to find a way of doing it differently, like climbing to the top of the swirly thing and I would see kids jumping off the top. or
like, going backwards on the slide,
or
which
Bob
I think
talking about the monkey bars and meeting in the middle and having a paddle, kick paddle. We were going to find a way of breaking the rules and going crazy. But like in today's world, there were kids that were like, let's have a kick paddle. Like they're being abusive. Or there'll be recordings or like, so nowadays kids do not, I don't think kids or even just our Gen Z generation, like our own kids.
I think there's a restriction on filming kids.
Right. But I'm saying in general, you don't feel the freedom to do things that are different or wild or whatever, because you might get caught, I guess. And it's not, and I was looking at recently Coachella.
And shamed. It may be perfectly legal, but you're shamed now.
So at Coachella, there was a whole thing about where there was all these people there, and you would see one or two people going crazy and dancing and having this great. And in many ways, yeah, sure, you could say they look ridiculous. But then there were all these kids that were around our kids' age, and they were just like, they were not like going crazy, jumping around, just having a grand old time and being wild, because they were all being recorded. Most of them had cameras up. They're all being recorded. And God forbid you got recorded dancing and you look foolish. Somebody might make fun of you.
Yeah.
What a way to live. Yeah. It was hard enough when we were kids and like kids would make fun of you in person to your face.
That's not good.
Which is not, but when kids made fun of you to your face was hard, but you dealt with it in that moment. And it also wasn't the entire world. So, I'll get off that tangent. But it is a reflection in many ways of our childhood and the things that we had the audacity to do as kids, even right down to
because we didn't have cameras everywhere.
You climbing on the fence like you did the chain link fence. What's the chances there's cameras looking at it and you're going to have someone running out there and stopping you way before you ever have a chance to even get halfway through?
Well, nobody has, very few people have chain link fences now. Two, it wouldn't have stopped me. I wouldn't have cared. In that case, I can see me being stopped in other things. Three, I think one of the reasons we were probably a bit more wild, free range than others is because of the large family. So I don't know if mom would have been on top of that if there was cameras.
I feel like I hear a lot of parents, like a lot of kids saying that they were the same experience even without a big family. That they just...
Well, the only thing I can see is perhaps the neighbors saying something. But I think it would happen... I think that it wouldn't happen in the moment. They would see it on the film and then go to mom and say, your daughter's doing this. And then she'd say, Joanne, knock it off. And then I'd be like, oh, that sucks. And I wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, you would. You would.
I would? Do you think? I
think if you were caught, like you would probably lay off for a little while and then you'd be like, fuck that. I'm going to do it.
Oh, that there is a possibility, or I would find other trouble. One or the other.
Yeah. Like Mrs. Self told you. Psh.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna do what I want.
I didn't do it on that side because she had the wooden fence, and it was hard. I did it on the. I can't say their names. They're still alive. Mrs. Self is gone.
Mrs.
What's
Self
that?
I don't have a problem saying that Mrs. Self would rat us out to our parents all the time. I actually think to the point where Mom, after a while, would be like, "Just go ahead and do
it." Do you remember that fire? That was another thing from the 80s. Is we'll have to do a thing on 4th of July, but we set off a whistler, and the way they used to do it, our brothers would put it on the ground, light it, and so whistlers go up, but they would lay it on the ground and shoot it off the street, and then it went to Mrs. Self's yard and blew up right underneath her window, and she went, "What are you kids?"
We did torture the poor woman. I want to say poor woman, but she was just cantankerous.
She was mean
to everybody. Anyways, I think we've covered the.
Let me look at my list.
If there's any
playground memories,
playgrounds,
favorite playground equipment. Oh, I didn't mention that. The maze. I loved that maze.
I forgot about the maze. That was at Seaman Park, was it? Or was it at... No, that was at Wantagh Park.
It was the rocket ship park. It was the first thing. Wantagh. And I remember going back and I'm like, girls, you got to see this maze. And it was like gone. Yeah. And I was very sad.
And when you were little,
I remember like finally realizing
it was concrete walls, and they had it painted all these different like rainbow colors.
Yeah, they were more like pastel.
I remember, but I remember it was bright and colorful.
Yeah.
So I remember entering as a little kid, and you couldn't see above. Yeah. So you'd have to hop. And I think we remember playing Marco Polo in there a few times too.
Oh, I could see that. That's hysterical. Yeah. That would be a great game to play in there. But I remember finally realizing you can climb the wall and you could see the whole maze and be like, okay, there's the center.
Well, I do remember at time, and I don't think it was that complicated of a maze, but I do remember getting lost in the maze.
But as a little kid,
and then crying because I couldn't get out. And someone had to come in and get me. I think they probably did that, just like went up on the wall, walked the wall until they found me. And they're like, oh, okay, come on, get on my hip.
Well, I suspect Mom and Dad could see over it. Because I don't, like an adult could see over it.
Well, they actually, because it was kind of sunken in, and there was like a fence above it where there was the rest of the playground, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So they could stand there and look in, but...
Yeah. You didn't know. That would I have to say my favorite playground, and I don't see that on playground. You need a lot of room for it. You don't see that in the playgrounds these days.
Wantagh Park. Oh, and then they had that little area that was behind the swings. That was for it was a garden, and it was a walkway for blind, and it had the braille. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember us pretending we were blind and having to read the braille. We were little.
See, something like that would be considered, how dare they pretend they're blind?
No, we were the imagination. We pretended we were Helen Keller. Because we all knew about Helen
Keller.
And we wanted to, like,
I'm with you on that. But today it would be considered an insult, when in reality it's little
kids exploring and understanding the experience of somebody else.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And then going to that park, and on the opposite side of the street was all of like the park benches and the barbecues. And we would sometimes go there during holidays, and Dad would bring hot dogs. I don't think he'd bring burgers so much. Hot dogs you can get in mass quantities.
It was always, I think it was Memorial Day weekend we would go, or Labor Day, or both. I don't remember. But I remember we would go early in the morning so we could get the picnic bench, and we would leave one of the siblings there. And then...
my God, that's right.
We would go back, and then we bring everyone else and all the stuff. And Dad would make coleslaw. Sorry.
I remember one year being the kid that had to stay behind, and I had a book that was one of those Find Your Adventure books. and I don't know why I have that memory of just sitting there going, that's okay.
Choose Your Adventure.
Choose Your Adventure. Yeah. And I would just sit down and read it and then realize I got through
we
the
always
adventure.
Had a kite.
And then I was like, I better find a different adventure because this might take a while. Because it just drop off kid, then they would go home and gather all their picnic stuff and all their
that
kids.
took some time. Yeah, that took probably at least an hour. But we always have a kite too. Mm-hmm. I remember just holding on to the kite. I remember slicing my hand with the kite, trying to get it to come down, but because it was very windy there.
Some plastic thing. It wasn't even fancy.
Yeah, but it was very windy there because you were near the water. But and then as we got older, the older siblings didn't come, and it wasn't as much fun. I don't entirely, maybe because I was getting older too, and the park was just not as fun. I remember walking all the way down and back to the seaside pool.
I know the last time we all went there as family.
That was before I went to Florida.
Yes, it was. We have a picture of it. Yes. Do you know why we did it?
Because I wanted a picture.
No. It's because the next day I was leaving for Venezuela.
Maybe that's why I did it. But I remember very distinctly, because this is with my camera. I remember very distinctly. I don't know about
the picture, but that was the reason why we went to the park and everybody came.
Because Freddie was also dating Maureen. And I remember Maureen took the picture. Wait, let me finish. We wanted to take the picture because who's taking the picture, Danielle? And I said they wanted to bring her in, or maybe it was Steven. It was one of they were dating, but I thought it was Maureen. And I said, no, I just want the family. It was me who wanted the picture because I recognized we didn't have it. Now, it could have been Danielle's leaving, Freddie's getting married, Linda's dating. I was like, we don't have a family photo. This is the last family photo. So all of us are together.
If you put it up to the camera, my favorite thing is James, who is probably all of 10, looking like he's hungover.
Oh, he was pissed. I forced him in there. Do you see, there's a picture, we had multiple pictures, but in one of them, I was holding him down or something like. Yeah, no. He says he regrets that. I'll tell you what, though.
We all go through stages as little kids.
I held this picture up, but I don't know if we can. I don't think we can. We might want to blur that out. Just a thought. But yeah, no, he was pissed. Now later he regretted it, but I distinctly remember the person who took the picture was dating one of our siblings, and they wanted her. I'm pretty sure it was Maureen. It could have been Steven.
When I was 18. It was right after I graduated high school.
Okay, then maybe it was Steven. But I said, no, I want just the family because we didn't have any family photo. And that's why, and tell you the truth, I had to grab this one. And like I said, this is with my camera because I used to take pictures a lot then. But there was multiple of them.
That's funny.
And I didn't mean to be rude. It wasn't that. It's like you said, it was probably you were leaving. People were dating, and
as we got older, we weren't getting together like that anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think we got together like that until like someone got married.
I was even the one who pulled them all together to sit. I was a pain in the ass, and I thought, oh, they're gonna all hate me. I take full credit for that one.
That was a good picture.
But it very likely had to do with you leaving, and I saw the family. Okay, we're all going our separate ways because I was also thinking I wanted to get out. At that point, it took me a few years, but I wanted to leave
at the time.
Long Island. Yeah. Oh, so I was graduating. I was 18 then. So this is 1988.
87. But it was because I left, I think September 1st. So maybe it was Nancy's birthday. I don't know. It was somewhere around there.
But yeah, James was the only pain in the ass one in this. But I remember,
yeah, but like at that age, I was
like, you're taking the picture, get it.
He might have been 12. I don't remember, but I do remember at that age also, like there is one picture of me.
Oh, this is probably why he thinks I was so mean when I was younger.
Where I was wearing, I looked like I was grunge, but it was before the grunge thing. And my hair was all like in my face, and Dad wanted to take a picture of me. And I was like, no. And I remember Dad being so annoyed with me because he's like, what did you turn? I wasted a picture. Because, it's film. You wasted film because I went like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a stage every kid goes through. What are you going to do?
There are a few pictures I wish I had. Like, remember, there was one, I was talking to one of our siblings, and I'm down like this, my hands in the pocket, black hat, black jacket, black pants. I'm all in black looking down and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I remember that phase.
Well, as a kid that was normally rainbows and unicorns, the fact that I was wearing some kind of like flannel that was brown and black and just feeling I was going through a stage. I was going through.
I think we all did.
I was hormonal or something. I don't know.
Okay,
anyways, I think this was fun.
I covered everything on my list.
This was fun. It was fun talking about all those places. Good memories. I still really.
When you first said playgrounds, I went.
Wasn't that a fun conversation though, Joanne?
It was interesting in memory lane. I did have to jog my memory a bit because yeah.
So
you
I
threw
have
it on
an
me
idea
this morning, and I was like, I
have an idea for our next episode, and if anybody is listening to this so far, you should tell us if it's a good one because I think it is a good one. I think we should talk about now on Long Island. It was the bazaars that they had in the summer, because I found out like they did do them in other places in the country. And I want to talk about those carny rides. I want to talk about those games. I want to talk about the prizes that they gave out and how weird they were. And I want to talk about the kids that were smoking weed while they were freaking doing the rides and why I have an acute fear of carnies. Okay, so that'll be what we're talking about next year.
But I don't remember much. I guess you'll be doing most of the talking.
I'll refresh your memory. We'll get there.
The only carny I went to was St. Liam's, nothing else.
I know. Trust me, that's enough. That's enough.
All
right. So you all make sure you do all the things. The buttons. Joanne, show your button fingers. Oh, button fingers. Subscribe.
And what's the other one?
Comment. Share.
Press a button.
Tell your friends.
Press a button.
Share it on Facebook. Okay. All right. We're good. We did the finger thing. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.